Doubles and coffee. Political tabanca is a hell of a thing. You rule with an iron fist and arrogance for 9.5 years, PNM. With fake news media, lies, innuendo, Balizé juice flowing through every independent institution. You get the curtail of a lifetime because the people have rejected the PNM. The people realize that the PNM is the most corrupt cult in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. That the PNM was there to see about their personal business, their recusals, and not the business of the people. Penelope Beckers, I advise you, not that you would take my advice, or I arrogant to think that you will listen to me. I couldn't care less. But let me tell you something, Penelope Beckers. You, as a woman who never really did anything for this country, never sacrificed, like our athletes, like our 4x100 relay team of Beijing 2008, who got silver behind the great Usain Bolt and have been lifted up to the gold medal position because Nestor Carter took doping, took performance-enhancing drugs. So you wouldn't know what it is to be a patriot and a Trinbagonian, because right now, Penelope Beckers, you and the next one with shoulder off the shoulder dress and think Amory Brown are clueless. Your minds are not functioning properly. The illegitimate regime of Venezuela, the narco-terrorists, the indicted narco-terrorists, the oppressive, tyrannical dictator, Nicolas Maduro and his regime, Delcy Rodriguez, are threatening Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana, when Trinidad and Tobago has done absolutely nothing to Venezuela. The Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago has continuously put out the official position that Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela, the people of Venezuela, have a long-standing, respectful, loving camaraderie and relationship. Venezuela has a problem with the USA. The USA has deemed Nicolas Maduro a $50 million US bounty, indicted in a grand jury in the USA as a narco-terrorist and a cartel supporter and the head of a cartel and gang Trinagua. And the United States of America is on a war against drugs and its deleterious effects. Kamla Persad Bissessa, the Prime Minister duly elected of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, is against the drug cartels, the drug runners, the money launderers, and the human traffickers. Kamla Persad Bissessa and her government with their foreign policy have taken no aggression, made no attacking statements against the people of Venezuela. The Venezuelan government stole an election in the face of every single citizen on the globe, had been attacking Trinidad and Tobago, ridiculing its prime minister, threatening Trinidad and Tobago based on a U.S. ship docking here with children, school children, going to visit it for training and development, as normal as has occurred since 1986, when our Brigadier Alfonso was the first one to go to USA for military training. A SOFA agreement signed by you, the PNM, you, which included international links with the USA, links with USA training, USA Army, and USA ability to interact with Trinidad and Tobago. That was a deal signed by Keith Christopher Rowley of the PNM. So Venezuelan officials are threatening Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana with military force, attacks, abuse, ridiculing the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago and the people of Trinidad and Tobago, threatening the people of Guyana with military weapons, army boats, army men in the Essequibo, making statements that the Essequibo belongs to Venezuela, and stating that the international court is illegitimate. This is the opinion, the statements, and the public record of the government of Venezuela. And you, Penelope Beckles, with Amory Brown, who when he was Minister of Foreign Affairs, did nothing when the UK government told him that what their criminal networks and the closeness of the government, the PNM government with criminal gangs, with people seeking asylum in the UK, that there will be a threat to Trinidad and Tobago losing its visa-free status. We lost our visa-free status in the United Kingdom. I see a man who gets so many contracts from the PNM across the board in Napa, Sapa, all over. Mr. Rome complaining bitterly that he had to travel all around the world because the UK required Trinidad and Tobago citizens to have a visa. Well, Rome, your boy Randall Mitchell, who you get special favors from, and the NLCB and all them PNM thing that you was and you's a PNM, is them have you suffering. Why you can't say it? Is them we get the US, the UK, to make Trinidad and Tobago have to apply for visa to go the UK. Rome, sing a tune about your PNM. Your friend Randall Mitchell was renting building to Trinbago as a landlord and talking about fraud. Randall Mitchell, that's why you're lost in Labrie. You got a cocktail. Why you don't go and stoops for people who want house when all they didn't build house? But that is en passant. So Penelope Beckles stands up with this clown, this big failure called Amory Brown, who was afraid to get up and debate in the budget debate, and the budget debate collapsed, and the PNM saying that the government collapsed the debate. The government does the budget. The debate in the lower house, the Standing Finance Committee, and the debate in the Senate are opposition tools for the opposition to make the government account for the budget. The government agrees with its budget. The government does not need to debate and convince itself that it loves its budget. The debate is for the opposition to sit there and not want to debate, looking at the president, vice president, and sitting down there, Amory Brown and Foster Cummings, sitting down afraid to get up to debate. So the government wraps up the debate. That means that the opposition collapse. Them trying to change history and the government wrap up the debate. We can't wrap up the debate if all you have to talk. If the opposition had to talk, you had to talk. You did not want to talk, you cowardly, imbecile Amory Brown. You sat there, you and Foster Cummings glued to your seat. So Penelope Beckles and Amory Brown, while Trinidad and Tobago is being threatened by the Venezuelan government, threatened at every juncture, Prime Minister ridiculed, country ridiculed, gas and all possible communication and collaboration and investment between Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago is off. The Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago is a persona non grata. If you don't choke on a coffee, let me drink some coffee. Nicolas Maduro saying that somebody, another human being, is a persona non grata, a narco-terrorist, an indicted money launderer, a drug trafficker, a human trafficker, an election thiefer, a dictator, a tyrannical, oppressive old thief, that 8 million of his citizens run from Venezuela across the globe. He calling people persona non grata, and Penelope Beckles, the PNM, and Amory Brown hugging up Maduro, Delcy, and the Venezuelan ambassador, while they are threatening the sovereign nation of Trinidad and Tobago. Penelope Beckles, let me take a pause here because like you didn't realize what you're doing. So you, Penelope Beckles, and the PNM are pushing and fear-mongering that we're on the brink of war and Venezuela is threatening Trinidad and Tobago And the stance taken by Kamala Persad-Bissessar against drug cartels, human trafficking, and narco-terrorism is dangerous. So, conversely, Penelope Beckles, your stance is let the drugs flow. Wherever the drugs pass, let it pass. Whoever dead, dead. That's your position. Well, that's not the position of a responsible Kamala Persad-Bissessar, who is fed up of the blood flowing in the streets from the guns brought here by narco-terrorists, narco-traffickers, and human traffickers. Kamala Persad-Bissessar takes her job very seriously and wants to keep all citizens of Trinidad and Tobago safe. So you meet with a narco-terrorist government threatening your country, Trinidad and Tobago. That's why I put it to you people that Taranji Banji, political tabanka, is a serious thing. Penelope Beckles, are you in touch and real? Are all your faculties working? Your country, the country that you dream about, I can't say, dream about being prime minister, is under attack by the Venezuelan government for no good reason. What they're attacking little Trinidad and Tobago for? Is Trump coming at them? Is the USA coming at them? Is the US warship, the US helicopters, the US Coast Guard, the US blowing up their narco-terrorist boats that moving at 100 miles per hour in the water? Is the US that have CIA interaction? The president of USA said that they're going to deal with the drugs on the land too and the illegal immigration. Is the United States of America going at Venezuela? What Venezuela bullying we for? What they attacking we for? What they coming at us for? What they threatening Guyana for? So Penelope Beckles, you hugging up Maduro and Delcy, you don't even know what Stuart Smallpin, Young and Rowley went and danced conga line and what deals were cut there. You had no clue. You was a black bencher just like Scotland. And you coming to hug them up when your country, your nation, the red, white and black, Trinidad and Tobago is being threatened by them. You going to hug them up? And across in Guyana, a Venezuelan migrant was arrested for terrorism, blowing up a gas station and killing a 6-year-old. These threats are real. Your PNM government have 150,000 Venezuelans here, undocumented. We don't know who is what. We don't know who is gang leader, who is trend de agua, who is criminal, who is terrorist. We don't know. Because of you and the PNM, because of your open border policy, because of your inability to manage migration, we don't know who's here. Guyana just suffered a terrorist attack by a Venezuelan national. These threats are real. Venezuela is threatening the sovereign nation of Trinidad and Tobago. And you, the leader of the opposition of Trinidad and Tobago, and your next shoulder off the shoulder dress wearer, go on to meet with the Venezuelan ambassador when your country is being threatened by that country? Penelope, because you're okay, you need a blue tablet, something wrong with you? What an idiot. But you go ahead. The people of Trinidad and Tobago are watching. The people of Trinidad and Tobago stand with Kamala Persad-Bissessar against narco-terrorism, drug cartels, drug smugglers, money launderers, gun runners, and human traffickers. The PNM supports all of that. Well, good for you. That's why you all have been rejected and will continuously be rejected. The PNM is no more. The cult is dead. Long dead the PNM. Bless.